The NASCAR Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. Shady Rays is having their best deal of the year. Go to shadyrays.com and use the code SGPN for 50% off of 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses, and go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady to enter the Shady Rays Parlay of the Day contest.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you asked me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Friday to you. It is the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. It's Friday for us, but you could be listening on Saturday. You could be listening on Sunday. You could be listening even on Monday and catching up and figuring out what you missed. But at that point, it might be a little too late for this episode. But hey, listen, to those of you who are like me and pretty much say, well, I have to listen to this because it's part of my routine, even though the information is outdated. Happy Monday to you.
Exactly. Whatever day it is, it's we're glad to have you. Happy to be here. I'm excited for this one. This is going to be a fun. I mean, again, I'm excited for every episode we do, of course, but this is going to be really fun. Obviously, going through our Hamlinmania bracket challenge, giving out our picks. I'm super excited, Rod.
Indeed, yes. For those of you who don't know, today's episode will be our well, I say live. We're doing it live together, but we are certainly not live. We're making our Hamlinmania bracket picks. And we were just talking before we hit record on this as far as how crazy this has actually gotten and how much validation Denny Hamlin has gotten now as a driver and a podcast host for putting this out into the world and having everybody run with it. It just proves that the appetite is there for this type of a contest, for this type of just fun to be had in the middle of the season. And I mean, if NASCAR doesn't pay attention at this point, I don't know what they're doing. Yeah,
I mean, at this point, like, they're super, super missing out on an awesome opportunity. You're getting, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be like right this exact stretch of 5 races. Like, they can tweak it, play with it, put it after the All-Star race, however they want to do it. Not in the playoffs, of course, because we don't need to be messing that up. But anytime before the playoffs, like, this is a great opportunity for NASCAR, especially as you come into the summertime here. A lot of the other sports are winding down. NBA's getting into their playoffs. I think the NHL's in their playoffs. Don't quote me. I don't watch the NHL. But, NFL, obviously, the draft is going on this weekend. But other than that, like, they're not playing. We have, of course, XFL, USFL as well. But NASCAR is still one of the big, center stage sports. And, yeah, this is blowing up. I mean, people are going crazy for it. I've seen all kinds of different contests and challenges out there. And, of course, I want to give, before we get started, to Full Tank with Phil credit. He's had this idea going for a while. He does the Karch Madness thing, which is very similar to this. And so I think he's still the original idea guy on this. But Denny did have a great idea. We decided to run with it as well as some other places have. We're not going to take your money for it because I've seen some just $75. I promise you'll get it if you win, right? Okay. Yeah. I'm sure I will, right? But ours is absolutely free, like everything on this network. And yeah, it's going to be a good time.
I was going to say, ours is a bracket challenge, not a pyramid scheme. We're not trying to get your money to...
We're going to do things, and you don't have to give us anything.
Look, all you have to do is just get your friends to give you $5, and then they'll send me $5. And at the top of this pyramid, I am a happy camper.
Yeah, I'll have a lot of money, and you'll probably never hear from my deactivated Twitter account again.
Nope. Why does this say Rod Villagomez 02, 05, 06, 09, 012? Like, why? Why
Well,
is
that's
this?
like the Bob Pockras with all
Yes.
the S's. The tweet was going around yesterday that Hendrick said no more dirt racing for Kyle Larson, and you got to make sure you look. Okay, if it's got the extra S, it's not Bob Pockras.
No, yeah, please. I mean, now that the blue check marks are gone, now we live in a world where we don't know who to trust anymore, Cody.
Well, and even when they had, on that specific screenshot of this post, it's got the blue check mark, but obviously that's easy to just edit onto a picture. So make sure you pay attention when you start to believe things.
Yes, please do. But yes, so for today's episode, we will be going through and making all of our picks for the entire bracket. That's what today's show is. So hopefully you too have managed to make your bracket. If not, there's still time if you're listening before the race on Sunday. Cody, when did you put the cutoff date or cutoff time?
That's a good question. I think I set it for noon on Sunday, but it didn't specify a time zone. So I'm guessing that's probably Central Time because that's where I'm located. But we'll see exactly when it closes. So don't waste time. Just get in. Quick note too, they did move up the start of the Cup race an hour. It is going to be at 1:00 Eastern time now instead of 2:00. As we talked about, rain is likely it's already canceled Xfinity Series racing, which Parker Kligerman going to be starting on the pole, by the way. That's pretty awesome.
That's good for
but
us.
So we'll see. It might affect that. So they've opened that window up. Just a quick note anyways. But it does close at some point on Sunday, early afternoon, late morning, depending where you're at. So you have until then to get it in. And again, go over to our Twitter at NASCAR Gambling. The link it's in the pinned tweet at the top. Just click on the link. Again, not asking for any money. You have to enter your email address so we have a way to contact you if you win, and your name. That's about it. I don't care if you don't even put your real name in there. we don't need anything from you. But giving away a Denny Hamlin 124 scale diecast car for first place, and then a $50 gift card to the merch store for second place. You get some cool SGPN gear, NASCAR Gambling Podcast gear, F1 Gambling Podcast gear, old-fashioned football, whatever gear you want.
I will say, though, if you want to claim your prize, do put some way in there that we can actually contact you. So please put in a correct email address, even if it's a burner.
If you want to make a burner email, it's fine. We have no problem. Just, we'll have to, otherwise we'll say your name on here and you'll have to contact us, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And then it'll go unclaimed. So, all right. Well, then let's get to it. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll start filling out our brackets for Hamlinmania. And listen, if I end up winning the bracket, which I'm going to claim to do because I'm awesome, I will pick the next person in line. I won't be the one to claim it. And neither will Cody, I think.
That is
we are exempt.
Yes, we will either give it to next place or have another side contest, or we'll figure something out to give it to someone.
Yeah, because we don't want to keep the prizes. We just want to beat you. That's all there is to it.
It's complete bragging rights for us.
Yep, that is exactly it. So, all right, step back and we'll come back to fill out our brackets. Let's tell you about Shady Rays. Shady Rays has got a parlay of the day contest. It's a special day, special contest for you who bought your shades from Shady Rays using that promo code SGPN. Each day of the NFL draft, still going on. I know it started already, but it's still going on. Sports Gambling Podcast is going to release a Shady Rays parlay of the day. The parlay hits, the cash will be awarded to one lucky listener. How to get in? Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady to start getting shady. I'll learn how to say that properly one day. I don't know. Maybe after the contest is run, I'll be able to do that. Our friends at Shady Rays, and they've got you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customized snow goggles, so much more. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company, offers world-class products. It's just as good as any expensive pair of sunglasses that I've ever worn, Cody's ever worn, anybody has ever worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics make it great for outdoor adventures. Plus, that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. I wish every place that I've ever bought any sort of sunglasses or glasses in general come with this kind of guarantee. It's backed by a lost and broken replacement. If you lose a pair, you break a pair, doesn't matter when, doesn't matter how, Shady Rays is not going to ask you what you did to break your glasses or why you lost them in the first place. They're just going to replace them for you free of charge. That's how awesome they are. Plus, if you don't like them, which I don't know how that's possible, but if there's a way that you don't like them, return them within the first 30 days for free or exchange them for another pair. This company is always got your back. I'm telling you. So exclusively for you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the year. Go to shadyrays.com, use the code SGPN for 50% off of 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Treat yourself to the shades rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. Reminds me of the Parks and Rec episode where like treat yourself. Of that.
Real quickly, I will just do a quick summary, basic summary of the rules here. So I had to put a few things in here, of course, but basically it's going to work like similar to a March Madness tournament does, right? You enter all your picks for each round, the next 5 races, not including the All-Star event, but the next 5 races, and you have to make all your picks now. So you're going to pick all your Dover picks now. You're going to pick your Kansas, your Darlington, your Charlotte. Gateway will be the final race. So you pick them all ahead of time, and similar to March Madness, the more you get, more points for having guys later. So every pick you get right in the first round is 10 points. The second round is 20. The round of 8 is 40. The round of 4 is 80. And if you get your championship pick right, it's 100 points. So you got to hit the championship pick to be to get it done. So, but that doesn't mean, your driver has to get there. There could be upsets, right? We have the second matchup on the board, the 2 versus 31 matchup is a tough one already. I think we might be calling some upsets early. And going through these, just looking like some of the matchups you could potentially get to, it's going to be pretty crazy. You can follow the progress of this on NASCAR Gambling, at NASCAR Gambling on Twitter. We'll have the updated scores and rules and everything there. Based on last week where we had all the changing of results, whatever the results are posted, but the most recent thing posted by Bob Pockris at midnight the day after the race, which means if we end up getting a Monday race this week, it would be, that whatever. That's the results I'm going to go off of, so there's not any confusion and all of that crap. We did make the ruling earlier this week that Josh Berry will count as Alex Bowman. I did change that in the contest to the number 48 car rather than to say Bowman. And then if there is a tie at the end, it's going to be a random draw that we'll do on the thing here. And yeah, so that's the basic summary of your rules.
Yeah. Listen, and above all, this is meant for fun too. I know there's prizes at the end of this, so let's not treat this like it's, a $1 million giveaway and that we're going to go
free. So.
Yeah, it's also free. So let's keep that in mind too. We're all here to have fun, which is why we made that ruling about the 48 car. Doesn't matter if it's Barry, doesn't matter if they call me and Cody to jump in that car. Whoever's in the 48, that counts for that day. So unfortunately, I don't know how much far you want to take it, but
that's a good. We'll see when we get there. But that's a good car. They're good at specifically really good at this track. Barry has been good. You can't just completely count him out. He's got a second place finish, I think, the last time he raced in the Cup Series at Richmond. So you can't count the guy out. Maybe he raced at Bristol Dirt too, but either way, recently he has a good second place finish in the Cup Series. So, all right, Rod, ready to make some
you ready
picks?
for this?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
First matchup is what I'm looking at here.
Real quick too.
Yeah.
They were seeded based on points per Denny's, suggestion. So first place in the point standings will go against 32nd place in the point standings, second against 31, so on and so forth. Anyways, continue.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the first one is number 1 seed Christopher Bell versus 32 seed Noah Gragson. I don't even know why this is a thing. I know why it's a thing, but I think both of us already know what our answer is going to be at that point, right?
Is this the week that Christopher Bell hits the wall, blows a tire early, and everybody's entire bracket is blown up?
It's started.
This is like the 16 versus 1 where nobody's gonna pick the 16, and crazy things can happen. But yeah, I think Christopher Bell, obvious answer here. So I'm guessing we both have him moving forward.
I don't know that was even much of a question. That might be. So there's those always the free bingo squares. That's the free bingo square for me.
It's not free. Something could happen, Rod.
Okay, but it's probably
going to be our biggest story on the NASCAR podcast next week if Christopher Bell gets wrecked out early or blows a motor or something.
Well, I never said that the free square would equal a bingo. It just,
Oh,
it's there. It's there to take it, right? You don't always get to get it.
This is
for
the
a
most
bingo.
obvious matchup of the day. It's going to get tougher from here, I think.
I think it kind of will. All right. Well, starts with the next one. I've got Chris Buescher versus Austin Cindric as the next choice as I click through here. That's the 14 seed. No, wait, hold on. What is that? Why is that not on there?
Is that?
That's weird. Because when I say submit my bracket, the next one says Chris Buescher versus Austin.
Yeah, versus Austin Cindric. Well, I might have seeded him wrong, but that's what we're going with, I guess. So
okay, that's what we're going with.
That's what our bracket says. So that's what we're doing.
Yes.
Again, this was not easy to put together. And
I'm sure it wasn't.
Here we
all
are,
right. So what do we got? Chris Buescher or Austin Cindric?
Well, this one I think is a little tougher. We expect both Fords to not be great this weekend, right? We kind of talked about that here at Dover, but we do expect RFK to be good. I expect Buescher to be decent. I don't expect anything from the Penske camp. Looking back, Penske has really just been horrible here. So Chris Buescher gets my vote.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm the same way. RFK, I feel like may be the dark horse here at this track. Kozlowski's been good, right, in his career here, and it's not necessarily been all that bad for RFK this season. They just haven't been able to put the finishes together. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is where they stick and stay around the front. So I'm okay with that. All right. The number 48 car, whoever is in that, whether it's Jimmy Johnson, Josh Berry, or the peanut vendor from the stands versus Eric Almirola. I don't know how you feel, but at least for this week, I'm definitely taking the 48 car because that peanut vendor can get around this track very well. Whereas Eric Almirola, I don't trust him so much this week.
Yeah, see, exactly. Already you're taking the 48 car. I am too. I mean, for me, this one's fairly easy. I am fading Stewart Haas Fords other than Kevin Harvick. I always got to toss that in there. But other than Harvick, I mean, I'm fading the rest of them this weekend. It's I don't expect them to be good. I don't expect Almirola to have any speed. And Barry's going to be just fine in the number 48 car. I think we'll see him have a good, solid top 10, top 15 run. That's easily going to be enough to win this. So, we're on the same page so far, Rod.
So far, so good. But I know there's going to be a few where we separate ourselves from the rest of the pack. But I mean, like I said, the 48 car on this track, I mean, like I said, it's got its own self-guiding GPS. It knows how to get around. So I'm not too worried about that. We got to step away one more time. When we come back, we'll keep going down through the rest of this bracket. Again, we're already on the same page for most of it, but we're going to separate. How would we do that? Man, let me clear my throat. We'll be right back. We're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. The NBA and NHL playoffs are here, and what better way to get down on some player prop parlays than over at Underdog Fantasy? Besides daily NHL, NBA, and MLB games, they've also already got NFL best ball drafts with a guaranteed $500,000 in prizes. Head over at UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Part of SGPN's draft week, SGPN is holding a free NFL drafts props contest exclusively for our members of our Discord. Completely free to join, and the winner gets a $250 cash and a $50 SGPN gift card. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord and go to the NFL channel for the sign up link. All right, as we continue down our bracket, again, we are filling out our Hamlinmania brackets, the one that is on our Twitter page. So click on that link. Whatever the matchups are on that bracket is what you got. Again, we got to give mad props to Cody for setting it up. This was not an easy task by any means. So it wasn't as easy as just printing out a bracket. Cody did the legwork before
going back. Maybe we should have done the paper brackets, but I feel like it's so much easier to just be able to log in, click who you want. You don't have to fill it out, take a picture, all that stuff. So
yeah, nope. I like how you did it better, Cody. It's fine.
I think I might have flipped two guys there, but hey, that makes this bracket our own. We'll and we're gonna roll with it, right? We'll have different results than everybody else.
Hey, and there was no governing sanctioning body. I mean, yeah, we were doing it all points, but you know. There's a word that there's a term that we use in my profession, and it says as terrain dictates, which means that I can call any audible I need to because the terrain dictated that I made that call. So, Cody, the terrain dictated that you had to switch a couple people around.
And as the president of the Corey LaJoy fan club, I've already decided he's winning this. So whether he wins these races or not, I'm going to make the ruling myself. No, just kidding. I won't do that. But
all right, we are on matchup 4, which pits Ryan Blaney versus Eric Jones in this one.
This one's actually tougher than it looks on the surface.
Yes, it is.
Oh, Rod, what do we do? Well, I want to know how you're going on this one, because I know you gave out Eric Jones on the pick show earlier this week. Again, if you haven't listened to that, go back and check that out, Tuesday's episode. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this one?
So this may very well be like exactly where we depart, right? And it's Eric Jones. I'm going to pick Eric Jones to finish better than Ryan Blaney. It hurts to say it, but I mean, Eric Jones, I think on this track is going to do better this week than Ryan Blaney. It's crazy, but it's true.
Yeah, I just got done saying I have no faith in Penske, and that extends to Ryan Blaney. If he doesn't screw it up, if his crew chief doesn't screw it up, if his pit crew doesn't screw it up, which those 3 things are already asking for a lot, they're just not super great here in the past, and I don't expect them to continue to be good here. And we've seen, the Fords have struggled a little bit more than the Chevys and the Toyotas at the intermediate style of tracks. I think that keeps up. Eric Jones, we know the legacy cars haven't been great, but we talked about it on the betting episode. They're coming off a good run at Talladega, and he's done well here in the past. He's a very talented driver. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with the upset as well. Going to have upsets in here. This is going to be crazy. And, again, it's just, over a 5-week period, you're going to take Ryan Blaney over Eric Jones every day, right? But when it's one race, and that can determine who moves on to the next one, I'm gonna side with you and go with Eric Jones here.
Me too. I like that. Okay. The next one I have is the slam dunk of all slam dunks. Kevin Harvick versus Harrison Burton. I love when this is an easy choice. I really do. Like, there's no way I'm taking Harrison Burton over Kevin Harvick. I get it that anything can and will happen. Kevin Harvick could lose all 4 tires on the first lap, leaving Harrison Burton to only have to run 3 laps of this race, finish in 34th, and still beat Kevin Harvick. But in the unlikely event that happens, much like when a plane says to you, in the unlikely event of a water landing, that's what I'm saying. In the unlikely event of Harrison Burton outlasting Kevin Harvick, I'm still taking Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. It's Kevin Harvick. Moving on.
Moving on. We don't have to belabor that point anymore. All right. The next matchup I've got on my screen is William Byron versus Michael McDowell. Again, seems like another easy one to take, but Cody, are you swayed by the chaos theory that William Byron won't make it past this week?
No. Okay. That's the answer. It's William Byron. I do expect a little bit of a fall off from Byron, as he's kind of fallen off a little bit, but I don't expect much from McDowell. So this is an easy Byron for me.
It feels like these first rounders, most of them almost feel like it's not until you get to the next to Kansas where it starts to get a little bit tight.
Oh, and I mean, that's kind of how it should be, right? Because it's the high seeds versus the low seeds. So these guys are in the better cars. They've obviously had the better seasons. I mean, other than some outlying examples, like when we get to Chase Elliott and he's a 31 seed, like normally he wouldn't be a 31 seed, of course. But I think it's going to be kind of chalky here at the beginning, but it's going to be some pretty tough matchups as we get into the next couple of rounds. That's going to be where things go off the rails.
Yeah. Well, this next one is another one that I think is going to be easy this week, although there's a lot of folks that are high on Gilliland. There's a lot of folks that are high on Gilliland. It's Joey Logano versus Todd Gilliland. I know, Cody, you talked him up a lot on the betting preview show. So, I mean, are you taking him over Joey Logano? I know you don't like Penske, but
this is my biggest upset call so far. Todd Gilliland is going to beat Joey Logano this weekend. I've seen a few people post their brackets. They got Joey Logano winning it all. He's good at Gateway at the end. The problem with that, Rod, you have to get to Gateway to be alive. And Joey's not going to make it. Give me Todd Gilliland. He has been running for his life, just, getting solid finishes. They're not afraid to take gambles. Joey Logano, I mean, honestly, I think they might not even be just looking right past this race. Like, he has sucked here his entire career. He's never had much success at all. And I don't think he's going to have a good day today. I think he's going to be 15th to 20th all day, and I think Gilliland can be in that range too. And that's good enough for me that maybe Gilliland lands a spot ahead of him, pulls the upset, and advances to the next round. So give me Todd Gilliland with the upset here.
I can't pull the trigger on that one. I just can't. I gotta take Joey Logano at least in this round. I can't. I know
that's
you
the first time we've disagreed, so that's good. We have to disagree sometimes. If this was the Xfinity bracket,
yeah,
we would have no problem because we disagree all the time in Xfinity. But
no, yeah, and so me, I don't know, man. Like I know Gilliland's been running for his life, but at some point that runs out, and this track is not kind to anybody, let alone a guy that's
especially
been on
Joey Logano
and Joey Logano too. But it's Joey Logano.
Right.
He can pop his head up and be fine every once in a while. All right, the next matchup I have got is Tyler Reddick versus AJ Allmendinger. This one, it seems easy. It seems like it should be Tyler Reddick. My heart is screaming for AJ Allmendinger though, but I've talked about Tyler Reddick and how he's done this season so far. It's been just as equally heartbreaking.
Yeah, and Reddick hasn't been super great here, but I think that he's going to be good enough to beat Allmendinger. So, yeah, give me Reddick again here.
Yeah, again, and it's just because Allmendinger has been running so poorly this season in general. That 16 car, I had high hopes for that 16 car, especially after doing as well as he did last season. Granted, most of those were in road races, but he did show that he could run well on ovals. And unfortunately, this season he's proving that he probably, I don't know, he's not running as well. So yes, yeah. Tyler Reddick for me in this one as well. Now this is the one where Cody said that we may very well get our first big upset because of the where Chase Elliott is in the standings. It's Chase Elliott versus Ross Chastain. Look, Hendrick cars dominate Dover. There's a lot of people who think Chastain could sneak his way into a pretty good finish, but can he break up the Hendrick Motorsports dominance? Can he finish better than Chase Elliott? This one's a closer one than it should be because this is already like a round 3 like matchup. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like this is
these
where,
are guys. I mean, yeah, these are guys who both these drivers were in the Final Four last year, weren't they?
Yeah.
I think Elliott made it. So yeah, like, and they're the 31-2 matchup. But to me, it's not even close, really. I'm taking the 31 side of this. Chase Elliott, 12 starts at Dover. 6 of them he's finished in the top 3. He is going to be fast. The more and more this week is, I gave him out Tuesday as the winner. The more and more this week has gone on, the more confident I have become in that. I might just load up on Chase Elliott to win top 3, top 5, every head-to-head, any group I can get him in. Like, I might literally put all of my chips on Chase Elliott this weekend. I'm feeling very, very good about the number 9 car this weekend, and I think he will easily win this matchup against Chastain.
Yeah, and again, unfortunately, this is just a victim of circumstance as far as where the points is. Chastain against almost anybody else probably could have been,
Oh, yeah, and the second-place guy in points against the 31st guy in points. Normally, that's going to be an obvious answer, but not so much in this case.
Nope. So this is one where Ross Chastain will not make a deep run, in my opinion, either. Chase Elliott has the edge on this track and just basically in general. All right, next matchup is Chase Briscoe versus Daniel Suarez. This is one where Chase Briscoe lucks out not being against a guy like Austin Cindric in the other bracket that I'm looking at here. So but even to me, does he
luck out?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know how.
If this was BJ McLeod, I would still take BJ McLeod. Give me Daniel Suarez.
Daniel Suarez over Chase Briscoe?
Absolutely. Not even close. Rory, I was on this Lane Coin podcast this week. Rory said Suarez top 10 was one of his favorite bets on the weekend. So I think you're going to see a solid run by Suarez. And Briscoe's going to be hanging out 20th to 30th, somewhere in that range, on straight speed all day, like he has been this season on non-short flat tracks.
Daniel Suarez is such a frustrating character to me.
He is. He can be, for sure.
It's just not, I don't know.
Which way are you going, Rod?
He's had finishes of 30th, 28th, 9th, and 14th on this track. Now, granted, both of the ones that he's been in the 99 have been top 15 finishes. Yeah. All right, give me Daniel Suarez.
It seems like it should have been easier than that, but
it does.
We got to the result anyways.
Yeah. All right. The next matchup is Denny Hamlin versus Corey LaJoy. Cody's already picked himself some Corey LaJoy magic on this one.
As the president of the Corey LaJoy fan club, I have to advise you to take Denny Hamlin in this matchup because it's not even close. I mean, Denny's going to have some serious problems to be beaten by Corey LaJoy. Unfortunately, if it was a super speedway, give me LaJoy all day. Or if it was a road course, honestly, maybe I would even take LaJoy. He's not super great, but Hamlin sucks at him. But yeah, it's at Dover. It's got to be Denny Hamlin. So this is unfortunately an easy one, and I got to go against my boy LaJoy.
Well, and just even lately, how it's been going for LaJoy, there's no way I'm taking LaJoy. His luck has not been good this season.
Yeah,
so
it's been a little rough lately.
Got to go Denny there.
Some decent runs early, but
yeah, but not lately. Lately, it just feels like the wheels have fallen off, almost quite literally, of Corey LaJoy's season. So,
yes.
All right, next matchup is Martin Truex Jr. versus Justin Haley. Cody's already got Martin Truex Jr. retired for the last couple of seasons, but Cody, are you taking them?
No, I mean, I think you have to go Truex here. He's had some decent finishes this season. I'm not going to bet on him to win because he just can't seem to find his way to victory lane, but he should have another solid run here. This is kind of a home race for him. I think it's not far from where he is from in New Jersey there. Maybe it is. I don't really know the East Coast that well, but I think it is fairly close for him, and he's been decent here before. I think he's won one or two races here as well. And then again, Justin Haley, like we talked about with Allmendinger, they've been inconsistent on the regular ovals, so I think that you have to go Truex here.
I think you do as well. Again, this first round, you're going to get a lot of agreement, I'm sure. Obviously, there's a couple of departures, but it's not till we get to the Kansas rounds that I think we're going to get a lot of pushback. So,
yeah.
Kyle Larson, Austin Dillon, next, please.
Yeah, I mean, if you need any more explanation, watch a race. It's Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
It's not a super speedway, so you have to take Larson.
You have to take Larson. All right, the next one is Ricky Stenhouse versus Ty Gibbs.
This might be the toughest one we've had so far, to be honest with you. This was tougher than Elliott Chastain for me.
So I want to know where you're at.
I honestly, I feel like I can trust Gibbs more, so I'm going to go with Gibbs. I expect Stenhouse to be good this weekend. I really do. We talked about him on the betting episode, so it's very tough for me to take Gibbs here, but Gibbs has had his really good runs. He's in more elite equipment. I know he's not racing to the top level of Gibbs yet, but I feel like we're going to get another good run out of Gibbs, so give me Ty Gibbs.
This is where we depart. I'm going to go ahead and take Ricky Stenhouse. I just feel like, again, we talked about him in the DFS show. He's had a pretty solid showing at Dover, right? A second place finish. I just feel like this is another Ricky Stenhouse week. He won, obviously, at Daytona. He's not having a bad season.
This is the toughest one so far that I mean, the rest of them I've pretty much had one way I'm leaning, but this one really is a coin toss. You could easily make the case for either side. So I'm glad we're going different ways because then we can see how it goes.
I am. Yeah, me too. So Ricky Stenhouse for me, Ty Gibbs for Cody. Not that I don't think Ty's going to have a good day. I just feel like Ricky's going to have a better one. All right. Brad Keselowski versus Bubba Wallace is the next matchup.
This one's not super easy either.
Not even a little.
Especially if Bubba sneaks through this one and beats Brad. He's so good at Kansas. He won there last year. He had the best car in both races. Oof, this one's kind of where are you going, Rod?
So listen, this is just hard luck on both sides of these, right? We talked about Brad Keselowski really not how he's had a fast car. We've seen him run around the front so many times, and then just something happens and he's gone. Like there's no more number 6 car around. Bubba Wallace, same thing, but a lot of what he's got going on is in his head. Like he's really hard on himself right now, and he's driving that way. Like I know that when I get behind a wheel of a car and I'm not in a good mood, like I don't drive very well. Like these guys are going way faster than I ever go. And when they make mistakes on the track, it tears up their car. Me, I just get the bird from other drivers. So that's not even a big deal. I think Bubba has the edge in this one. I think he has the edge at Dover. I don't know.
This one is so tough. This one's even tougher than the Gibbs Stenhouse one.
You know what, Cody, you know what pisses me off is that I think I have my decision made, and I pretty much had and we didn't want to fill out our brackets beforehand because we wanted to talk through the process of it with you guys.
Right.
So this is
and I seeded all of these and everything, but I hadn't like sat down to think of how will this go.
You know what? Give me Keselowski. I feel like he's just gonna get a good enough finish. I think Bubba's still in his head. I think there's no. Give me Keselowski.
I even gave Bubba, because I like his odds, I gave him a 40-1 to win this race because I think there's a scenario where he could. But yeah, give me Brad too, because I think I can trust Brad a little bit more, and I think he's going to be solid. I don't know that he's going to have a car to win necessarily, where I think there is a scenario where Bubba could win. But yeah, I think we can trust Brad more for the head-to-head finish. So I'll take Brad as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's fun to consider Bubba as a long shot, but it's also he's a long shot.
Man, I mean, again, if he can get through this week, although he would likely have to face Kyle Busch, depending on how you make your next pick, but he's so good at Kansas that he could go on a little run for sure.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Kyle Busch, he is in the next matchup. Kyle Busch versus Ryan Preece.
Next. This is easily Kyle Busch.
Easily Kyle Busch. All right. Well, then I think the next one I've got then is my next
on to
round,
round
right?
2. Yep. So
on to Kansas.
So this will be the Sweet 16. I don't know if we're allowed to say that because I think that might be trademarked, but it is anyways.
There's 16 candies and they're all sweet. There, how's that? All right. Well, then for my next matchup, you're clicking along with us, right?
Yes,
you're
clicking along, so it'll update the matchups here. So yeah, just go ahead and give out yours, and then I can give out mine if it's different. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of the same ones because we had the same picks on most of them, but we will have a few different ones.
Yes. So my next one is Christopher Bell versus Chris Buescher. I believe that is yours as well, correct?
It is. Kiss. Yes.
Well, I mean, in Kansas, that's another thing. Like in Kansas, I still feel like Christopher Bell is the better driver of the two. Yeah, his luck hasn't been good, but he's still the better driver. Give me Christopher Bell.
Yep, it's Bell for me as well.
All right. The next one for me is the number 48 car versus Eric Jones. And man, I don't.
No,
this one's tough.
This one's not for me. It's give me the 48 car. Whether it won't be Bowman yet back in this car for sure, but yeah, give me Josh Berry or whoever else they decide to put in that car. It's already pushing it to me to take Jones at Dover as a smaller intermediate. You're going to go to an even bigger track where you need more speed. Legacy car is not going to have, in my opinion. So give me the 48.
Okay, fine. Give me the 48.
It's your bracket, Rod. You can pick whoever you want.
No, I know, but I'm trying to. I don't want to be different just for difference sake. Like I legit want.
That's how I feel when I'm filling out March Madness. Right, like you got to be different some places because you have to pick the upsets, but it's not easy. This is not easy to pick either. I mean, there seems like some very obvious ones here, but now we've got Bell going all the way to the third round. If he has an issue and Gregson ends up beating him at Dover, he's not even going to be alive for these next two picks. So I mean, it's not easy at all.
Nope, not even a little. All right, well then we've got Kevin Harvick versus William Byron at the next one. At Kansas, though. At Kansas. This is now where you have to start. We've gone through Dover. Like we've already gone through Dover. Like Dover has been thoroughly.
Dover's over. Chase Elliott has a win. He's now in the playoffs. And we're on to Kansas, where I will be all weekend. It's gonna be a fun time.
You will be there.
I will.
So I mean, we know Harvick's a top 10 machine.
Yeah, this one's
now
again
he's against Byron.
Now for me, it's Harvick still. I think that I can rely on Harvick to get me a good solid finish. I'm expecting Byron to trail off a little, and not that I mean that still probably means a top 10, and he could win this matchup. But I know I'm going to get a good finish from Harvick. I don't exactly know what to expect from Byron, and I think that we continue to see him trail off a little. So I'm going to go with Mr. Old Reliable and keep with the Kevin Harvick theme of the show.
So the last two races at Kansas have not been that great for Harvick. He had a 15th place finish and he wrecked out. He had a 36th place finish last season. So, I mean, this is a tough one because I definitely want to take Harvick, but I also realize that Hendrick is on a roll, and you know that Stuart Haas is not, except for of course Harvick.
Harvick doesn't count as Stuart Haas. That's Harvick Motorsports.
He's in a league of his own. But for Byron, right, he's had a string of top 10 finishes. His only non-top 10 finish was this race last year, where he finished 16th. So give me Byron. I'm going to take Byron.
All right. I like it.
That way we can do it. All right.
All right,
Next
we have
one
different matchups on this one, so give yours
do.
first.
I have Joey Logano versus Tyler Reddick in Kansas. Still taking Joey Logano. What about you?
I have Todd Gilliland versus Tyler Reddick. The 2311 cars were so fast and so good. They won both Kansas races last year. So give me Tyler Reddick to move on.
Yeah, but he's been hit or miss, man. So
But he's
crazy.
been hit where they've been good. I think they're
well for your matchup. I would easily take Tyler Reddick over Todd
Yeah,
Gilliland.
I mean,
That's
that
the
does
no-
make it easier, but
Yeah,
could be missing some valuable points if I don't have Joey going this far. But
it's true.
that's where I'm taking my gamble. It is the NASCAR Gambling Podcast, Ross.
It is. All right, the next matchup I have is Chase Elliott versus Daniel Suarez.
Same.
Slam dunk.
This is
Chase
an easy
Elliott.
one. Chase Elliott moves on. I mean, again, I don't think that's
No,
much of a surprise.
if you need explanation on that, we'll be happy to give it to you in the Discord. No need to waste valuable minutes of your day on that one. All right, Denny Hamlin versus Martin Truex is my next matchup. I think that's yours as well.
It is.
A couple of Gibbs drivers in this matchup.
This is a tough matchup. I mean, again, kind of a coin toss, right? You got two guys that, I mean, honestly, Truex has probably been getting the better average finish so far this season. He is a little higher in the points. He's the higher seed as the 7, and Hamlin comes in as the 10. But I don't like. I've already picked Truex once, and that makes me feel queasy. So give me Denny Hamlin. It is Hamlin mania too. So
He already feels yucky having to do that. Exactly that. Hey, listen, it's not as if we're not doing it without cause. Hamlin over the last 3 races here, a 5th place finish, 4th place finish, and a 2nd place finish for Denny at Kansas. So give me Denny Hamlin as well. Next one, I made it easy because I picked Ricky Stenhouse. And so that made it easy for me. Kyle Larson versus Ricky Stenhouse. That's not even a question. Give me Kyle Larson.
I have Larson versus Gibbs, and again, it's going to be Larson.
That's the same thing. I also made my next round easy, and that was Brad Keselowski versus Kyle Busch. Definitely taking the Kyle Busch end of that one over Keselowski.
Yep,
Cody, did you get the same thing?
Yep, same matchup. Give me KFB.
KFB. All right. I believe that takes us to Darlington.
That takes us to Darlington. Oh boy, I tell you what, guy like Eric Jones ends up sneaking into this round. You got to watch out for pulling upset for sure. So again, these brackets, a couple of these guys, if you can get them to a certain race, watch out because they could do some damage and score you some valuable points.
Yep, indeed. All right. Well, at Darlington, then my first matchup consists of Christopher Bell versus the number 48 car. I think that's yours as well, right, Cody?
It is.
How you feeling about that?
This is a tough. I mean, it's going to be tough from here out, so we probably keep saying that. But this is a tough matchup. Man, how do you have Christopher Bell at Darlington pulled up in front of you?
I do not have Christopher Bell at Darlington, but I will in just a second. Talk through it while I pull up Christopher Bell.
Yeah,
so
I
will tell you that he finished in 5th place at the Cookout Southern 500. Definitely over.
That car has been so good here in the past with Eric Jones in it. Now that might be the driver because we know Eric Jones is just really good at this type of track. It is going to be more of a veteran-laden track, although really Josh Berry's probably older than Christopher Bell is. I'm definitely leaning, unless he has really bad results in the couple races before that, I'm leaning the Bell way on this because I mean, Josh Berry, again, I think you're just going to get solid finishes every week. That's what he did in the 9 car at every normal track. He got like a bristle dirt thrown in there and stuff, but every normal track he was in the 9 car, like he had good, solid results.
Well, so last year he finished 6th and 5th, where he started 3rd and 2nd. So
for Bell,
do you think Josh Berry or whoever's running that 48 car can get into the top 5?
That's I think you got to go with Bell here.
Yeah, that's really where you're at. Can he get a top 5 finish? If not, you got to go Bell.
Okay.
It's a mathematical equation. All right, my next one is William Byron versus Joey Logano. That's a tougher one than I think I would like to admit as well. Joey Logano finished 4th here last year in the fall, and then he finished in. Well, he had a pretty bad day in the other race that he was in. I can't even find him on this. Where's Joey Logano? Joey Logano. If I can't find you in the he won.
You weren't scrolling up far enough.
I wasn't scrolling up far enough. All right, well then give me Joey Logano. I feel like that's a good matchup to have Joey Logano go again.
I have Kevin Harvick versus Tyler Reddick. I'm gonna keep riding happy Harvick, man. Give me Harvick to pull another one and keep going forward. I'm gonna get Kevin Harvick into my, what is that, Elite 8 here, or fun?
Yeah.
What is that? Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, fine. Well, that'll put him in the 4. So I like it. Yeah, give me some Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick. All right. Well, my next matchup consists of Chase Elliott versus Denny Hamlin. Let me tell you right now, this is one of those circumstances of where Chase Elliott obviously was in that last position. So now he's got to move up through a weirder bracket than most 31. I mean, he would have already been gone at this point, right?
Right. Yeah.
I don't think you would have had Denny Hamlin and that going at the same time. This is a tough one. Why? Because Hamlin is, well, he's Denny Hamlin, and he's been good all.
I mean, these are two of the best drivers in the Cup Series. Like, this is a very tough one, and they both run really well here.
Do you have the same matchup? No, you don't.
I do. I have Elliott versus Hamlin. Yep.
Well, listen, Hamlin's won one of the last 3, finished in the top 2 and 2 of the last 3, had 3 top 5 finishes in the last 4. Give me Denny Hamlin. I know it's probably unpopular, but
man, the thing with Hamlin too is he's going to be following along. Like, he's probably not listening to our show, but he's going to be following along on this bracket, right? So he's going to know who he has to beat every week, and he is going to make it a point to try and beat them.
That's funny. It's funny if he. That's
man.
What does your heart say, Cody?
My heart says Chase Elliott. Of course, I love Chase Elliott, but
I know
there's a big piece of my heart that's starting to love Denny Hamlin now with this whole podcasting thing and how great of a guy he's become. Give me Denny Hamlin. Do it. Yeah, I pulled the upset on my heart there, but give me Denny.
And now Cody will slink back into just the abyss.
And if Chase Elliott ends up winning this whole thing, I'll still be happy because it's that emotional hedge. That's how I get through Husker football games. I bet against them. And then if they win, I'm happy because they won. If they lose, I'm happy because I won.
Hey, we're just in this for the pride and for the bragging rights anyways, right? So
exactly.
Can't really fault us for that. All right, well, my next matchup is Kyle Larson versus Kyle Busch, the battle of the Kyles.
Yeah, I got the same one at Darlington. Boy.
You know where I'm leaning?
I think we might be leaning on the same side of this, which is going to be the not chalk side, I think is where we're going here.
I think we're both going Kyle Busch, aren't we?
I think we are.
I think
Let's
we
do
are.
It.
Yeah,
give me KFB, baby.
How crazy. Kyle Busch for Kyle Busch over Kyle Larson. And it's not because Kyle Larson's not dominant. We know he's been dominant. Like, he had a 3rd place finish at Darlington and 3 second place finishes in a row. But over the last year, he had some rough goes of it. He had engine problems, finishing 36th in the spring. And then even when he was running, finished 12th in the fall. Kyle Larson hasn't been we thought we saw it earlier, right? Where we were like, oh man, he's back. Not so much. He's still struggling. And, to get past Dover, that's one thing, but you got to get past Kyle Busch on Darlington. And I feel like that's a tough task.
Yep. So we're down to our last 4 drivers.
Oh,
we're going to the Coke 600, a long race where you got to outlast everybody else. Who are your final 4, Rod? Do you have the 4 written down?
I don't have the 4 written down, but I know that I've got Christopher Bell.
I do have them. You have Christopher Bell and Kyle Busch, and you have Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin.
Oh my God!
I
didn't even realize that's where we were. That's how it was going to shake out for me.
I've got Christopher Bell and Kyle Busch, so we're the same on that side, and then I've got Kevin Harvick versus Denny Hamlin on the other side.
I feel sad because I feel like I should have.
Looking forward to just quickly doing this in my head really fast. I know who's going to win this in the matchup in the championship. I feel like this is going to be mine for sure. I think both of ours probably are going to be different. I mean, we got guys like Elliott and Larson losing. Like, I think those are going to be chalky guys that get, that's going to be the North Carolina Duke picks because they're, the top team, stuff like that. I like that we went a little different on this. And we didn't even really there was a few I'm going to call this guy, but we didn't have any crazy upsets or anything.
No, yeah, I didn't have a 32 seed dunking on a 1.
Well, you had a 31 over a 2, but
I mean, that's by de facto. Yeah, that's de facto. You can't even blame that on anything other than that where he was at. But
all right,
yeah, I like it.
All right, on to the Coke 600.
On to the Coke 600. Well, what's your first matchup?
Yeah, I've got Christopher Bell versus Kevin Harvick. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, this one we printed out is it's late. I laid out mine. I don't know. I just printed the Dirty Mo one to keep track on paper, and it's going a different direction. But
they may have actually taken it off at different points now. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah, and like I think that the way I seeded it, how the NCAA seeds it, where you snake it, but whatever, it don't matter. This is our contest. So I've got Kevin Harvick versus Christopher Bell, and I am going to take Kevin Harvick, of course. So I mean, this is if Harvick can make it to this point, this is a 600-mile race where they're used to running 400 most weeks, sometimes 500. Now you're pushing it to 600. And so often we see the veteran guys, the guy that can outlast everybody else. A guy will be having a dominant day. He'll lead a bunch early. Then he has a problem. Then he makes a mistake. Something happens. A guy like Harvick is going to keep working on his car throughout the day and be there at the end. Give me Kevin Harvick to advance championship round.
It's a long day. Long day for sure for all those guys. All right, well, I have got Christopher Bell versus Joey Logano. Here's what's crazy. I'm going to go ahead and take Christopher Bell. Last season for Joey Logano at Charlotte, not good. He had a 17th place finish. I'm sorry, he had a 20 place finish rather in the spring, and then a 17th place finish in 2021, 13th place in 2020. So, for Christopher Bell, he actually had a much better finish last season. And of course, we all know his Charlotte Road exploits. But on the actual oval itself, he got a 5th place finish last year in the 600. So, yeah, again at this point, I think this is a good momentum swing for Christopher Bell. Like I said,
it's crazy too. Like so you've got Joey going to your final 4 picks, and I have him losing in the first round. Like again, that's a lot of points in between that is either going to be won by you or won by me or whatever. Like it's there's going to be some big swings in this. This is going to be a lot of fun to follow along.
Yeah, it will. All right, so that was we both picked our that one, right? So we're on to the next
other
round.
side. I've got Denny Hamlin versus Kyle Busch on the other side of the final 4. So
which is funny because I have Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch as well on this side.
We worked out to get the same guys.
We sure did. That's funny too. In all of that bracket listedness, we worked out.
This one,
I know where I'm at on this one.
Where are you at? Let's hear it.
I'm going with Denny. Denny won this race last year. So
I mean, you could make the veteran argument, the outlast them argument for both of these guys.
You can, but I'll take Denny on this because, like I said, he won this race last year, and again, if I have him on a momentum run, his last 3 races on this track, 2nd, 7th, 1st, not bad for old Denny Hamlin on this track. So, and Kyle Busch did finish 2nd last year in this race, which is why it's crazy that these two are together on the track where they finished 1-2.
Well, I gave him out 20-1 in November to win the Cup Series championship. Give me KFB, baby. He's moving on to the championship.
I mean, again, it's not like I can say, oh, that's a horrible, because Kyle's finished. He won in 2018, 3rd in 2019, 4th in 2020, and then 29th in that second 2020 race where they ran. But
these are two guys you expect to be good at that type of race where it is the veteran prowess. It is the guys who are good at knowing what their car's doing, how to continue to work. I mean, you got to make so many changes throughout the day. There's 4 stages in that race compared to the regular 3 stages. Like these are 2 ideal guys. That's probably why they finished 1st and 2nd last year, because these are the 2 guys you think of when you think of guys that can make it through a long day. That if it comes to that, going to be a great matchup.
How crazy is it that now I am staring at Christopher Bell versus Denny Hamlin?
Christopher Bell going all the way.
Wow. I did not see this coming. It's funny because I'm just as shocked as I hope you guys have enjoyed this ride, because if nothing else, I'm going to go back and listen to it and go, how the hell did I come up?
Yes, because you go into it thinking you're probably going to have Larson at the end. You're probably going to have Elliott at the end. And then as we've gone through this and some of the matchups that have come up, it's well, I'm just going to lean that way at this one race specifically. And that changes the whole outcome of the entire bracket. That's what's made this so much fun. Like, man, that's woof.
Okay, listen.
All right,
I know that it's Hamlinmania. I did not set out to have Hamlin going.
Yeah, you got Hamlin going all the way. All right, Hamlin and Bell, two Joe Gibbs guys. Who you got?
I'm gonna take Hamlin. I guess I have to take Hamlin at this one because, don't I have to?
Yeah, I think you do.
I think I do. So Hamlin to win it all. Wow, how did I even do that?
All right, well, here's my final matchup, Rod. I have Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. This race, by the way, is at Gateway. This will be the one matchup at Gateway. Worldwide Technologies in St. Louis. Kyle Busch versus Kevin Harvick. Where do I go on this, Rod?
I know where I'd go.
I know where you'd go. I know where I'm going. Kevin Harvick, baby. It's his last fucking season in the Cup Series. He is going to win this. He's not ever going to get the chance to compete in the real one. He gets to compete in Hamlinmania on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. We talk about Kevin Harvick every week. He is the most reliable driver in all of NASCAR. What do you need to get through a bracket, Rod? Reliability. Kevin Harvick is going to do it. I am big on the Harvick train every week. I did not think he would make it this far. I did not plan for him to get here. My upset of Joey Logano early might have helped land him here, make his road a little smoother. But Kevin Harvick beats Kyle Busch, and he is going to be the inaugural Hamlinmania champion.
Well, for me, I've got Hamlin as the winner of the initial Hamlinmania. Again, I did not foresee him. I thought for sure that I would take somebody over him at one point, right? But then it just got down to I just couldn't do it. Like I couldn't pull the trigger on anybody over Hamlin. I probably should have at one point. Even Martin Truex over Hamlin at some point.
Well, that's the thing too, is like there is some tough matchups, and again, Corey LaJoie somehow pulls the upset here. Hamlin has a problem or ends up laps down, and then your entire bracket is almost shot right away. It's like the real thing.
Yeah, and Chase Elliott, like I said, probably could have picked him over Denny Hamlin, but
yeah,
I'm like, but not at not at Darlington. Like, just no. Oh, it's so crazy. It's so weird how this.
Don't forget to submit your bracket.
Yes,
I'm going to share my Twitter here right now too.
It is submitted. Bracket is submitted. Here are your predictions. All right. Well, there it is. Now, so listen. Now that we've gone through this process, now that we've talked through the bracket challenge, I would say that if we do this, if this NASCAR thing happens for real, and I think next year we should do this, we got to pick a better race. Maybe we start it a week earlier, maybe because he just suggested it earlier this week, right? Maybe we end it at the Coke 600. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the last race.
And I think you have to have a super speedway in there somewhere, whether that's the first race like last week, right? But that would just throw so many potential wrenches into it, because then a guy like Kyle Larson, who some people might just have walking through the whole thing, like, well, he sucks at super speedways, but is his wreck late enough that he beats out whoever he's matched up against? Like, the super speedway angle of it would make this so much crazier.
Well, but would people play though? That's the only question.
Well, I think that they should.
I think that they should too. Yeah, because the super speedway, if you started it on a super speedway, there would probably be a lot of pissed off people. But it'd make it for a lot more fun, I think.
I don't like those people, so I'm just kidding. I love everyone for the most part, except for that guy that drives the 11 in the Xfinity Series.
He who shall not be named. You know what? Maybe we do an Xfinity Series bracket too.
That I'd see. I had already thought of that. Let's get through this Cup one, and then maybe Xfinity is next to get through the summer stretch.
Okay.
And you think we agreed a lot on this one? We'll see how JRM is doing by that point in time, but I think we'd be doing a lot of disagreeing there. If you did not listen to this week's Xfinity Series pick show, again, Rod and I in much disagreement once again. Xfinity seems to be where we like to butt heads, and that was a lot of fun. I think that we get along well enough, and our picks a lot of times go the same way, and that's probably good overall. But I like the little wrench thrown in there every once in a while where we have our differences and we get to kind of battle it out and argue it.
Hey, there's some people that tune in for drama. I know that our listeners don't necessarily enjoy all of when mom and dad fight, but I know that every once in a while it's okay to have healthy discussions. But again, as I've always said time and time again, it doesn't help. I mean, we're here to make you think, obviously, but it also doesn't help you any if you leave not knowing who to bet on.
Right.
You know, if you leave this show and you're like, well, then who do they even pick? Then, you know, what good is it going to do you? So obviously we give you enough to think about to hopefully make your own pick. But if you're really in a pinch and you're just like, I'm just trying to get some picks, like, and then you hear me say one and you say one and we're literally on the opposite side of it, then it doesn't help anybody, because then they're just like, well, then I don't know. It's like when you listen to a fantasy football show and the hosts go, well, I want to play this guy. And they're like, well, I want to play this guy. And you're leaving going,
like, well, which one do I start?
well, who do I start with? Like, you never answered my question. So
Exactly.
All right. Well, find our find our picks on our individual Twitters.
Yep.
And then I'm sure we'll have Cody put both of ours up on the NASCAR official Twitter. And our picks are in, guys. Hopefully yours will be too very, very soon.
Yeah, get yours in. If you're new to the show, you just stumbled across this because of the contest or something, check out our episodes this week. Give out picks for Xfinity, for Cup, some DFS plays on another show. Recap Talladega. I think we did that actually Sunday night. And that's, if you listen on the YouTube channel, click the bell. We do a lot of recaps live Sunday nights, reacting to the races for the weekend. Might be live on Monday night this week. The way the weather's looking, we'll have to see. But it's fun time, and we're glad you joined us. Thanks for playing. Again, completely free. Go to @NASCAR Gambling on Twitter. You got the link is there, and you can sign up and play. And we're gonna keep updating the contest every week and keep a leaderboard and all that fun stuff.
It will be a blast. Play along with us. All right, Cody, let's go ahead and wrap it up for today. We accomplished the mission. We filled out our brackets, and now we can send everybody happily on their way.
We made it. Let's go racing. Let's make some money this weekend. But you can find all my work over on Twitter @Husker_Zeeb. Just posted my IndyCar picks today. Definitely check those out. Been hit a few so far this year. Been really freaking close on a couple other ones. Hopefully get some good ones this weekend. Check out the F1 Gambling Podcast as well. They are racing. Charles Leclerc is going to be on the pole for Sunday's race. So maybe somebody besides Max Verstappen actually has a chance. We'll see. But it's gonna be a fun week. Hopefully the weather will let up enough to get in some racing and watch Chase Elliott get in victory lane.
And watch Chase Elliott continue to go down the bracket. That's how we are. All right, follow me on Twitter @RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio to everything I got going on, whether it's here, whether it's in between media. The Back Road just covered Dover. Check them out and check me out as well. Of course, Lane Coin Podcast with Rory and Mark, Skybox NASCAR. Cody was a guest there as well. Always a blast with those guys, man. I laughed my ass off every second of that show. I love what they got going on. Love their chemistry. Love Cody being on it. So check that out as well. Of course, check out our friends, Full Tank Phil. Check out Derek's show on Twitter. Just have some fun. Learn more. Get betting. And, of course, enter the contest.
Yes.
We'll see you to wrap up Dover and to talk about the rest of it. Until then, let's go racing and let it ride.